سے خیموں میں مسلسل ہے فغاں دریا، پیاسے خیموں میں مسلسل ہے فغاں دریا، تو نے غازی کو چھپایا ہے کہاں دریا، پیاسے خیموں میں مسلسل کتنی حسرت سے تکے جاتے ہیں شہ کو آباز، اتنی حسرت سے تکے جاتے ہیں شہ کو آباز، جب سے گونجی علی اکبر کی اذان دریا، تو نے غازی کو چھپایا ہے کہاں دریا، مشک پر تیر جو آیا تو یہ محسوس ہوا، مشک پر تیر جو آیا تو یہ محسوس ہوا، جیسے سینے میں اتر آئی سنائے دریا، تو نے غازی کو چھپایا ہے کہاں دریا، ہاتھ کٹنے پہ بھی عباس کے تیور ہیں وہی، ہاتھ کٹنے پہ بھی عباس کے تیور ہیں وہی، شاہ بچ جائے چلی جائے یہ جائے دریا، تو نے غازی کو چھپایا ہے کہاں دریا، جانے کب سے در خیمہ پہ کھڑے ہیں بچے، جانے کب سے در خیمہ پہ کھڑے ہیں بچے، سوکھے ہونٹوں پہ رکھی خشک زبان دریا، تو نے غازی کو چھپایا ہے کہاں ہے دریا، نوک نیزہ سے اتاری گئی زینب کی ردا، نوک نیزہ سے اتاری گئی زینب کی ردا، سو گیا خاک پہ جب شیر جوان دریا، تو نے غازی کو چھپایا ہے کہاں ہے دریا، ہائے جز شام غریباں نہیں کوئی شاید، ہائے جز شام غریباں کوئی نہیں شاہد، رو کے کہتا ہے یہ خیموں کا دعا دریا، تو نے غازی کو چھپایا ہے کہاں دریا، پیاسے خیموں میں مسلسل بارے دیگر نعرے صلوات، اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد، محمد و آل محمد صلوات، اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد
صلوات،
اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد،
زینب کو ماں کا فرمان پردے سے میں رلائے، زینب کو ماں کا فرمان پردے سے میں رلائے، پیاسے کو کیسے پانی پیاسی بہن پلائے، زینب کو ماں کا فرمان پردے سے میں رلائے، بابا تو کربلا میں اس کے شہید ہو گئے، بازو کاٹا کہ چاچا دریا پہ بھی وہ سو گئے، اب کون جو سکینہ کو شمر سے بچائے، زینب کو ماں کا فرمان پردے سے میں رلائے، ڈھونڈا بہت ہے شان صحرا میں ابن شبر، قاسم کو جب سمیٹا بولے حسین رو کر، یہ لاش لے کے خیمے شبیر کیسے جائے، زینب کو ماں کا فرمان پردے سے میں رلائے، یثرب کسی کی بیٹی نہ ایسی ہو ستائی، نہ سامنے بہن کے ہو قتل کوئی بھائی، پیاسی قبر نہ کوئی پردے سے میں بنائے، زینب کو ماں کا فرمان پردے سے میں رلائے، احمد کی بیٹیوں کے بلوے میں سر کھلے ہیں، سر کو جھکائے عابد خاموش چل رہے ہیں، سجادے کی اسیری کائنات کو رلائے، زینب کو ماں کا فرمان پردے سے میں رلائے، پرسے کی اس جہاں میں ہر رسم میں ہے بتاتی، مرتا ہے جب کوئی دنیا حسن ہے جاتی، لیکن غریب زہرا خود پیسہ لینے آئے، زینب کو ماں کا فرمان پردے سے میں رلائے، بابا تو کربلا میں اس کے شہید ہو گئے، بازو کٹا کے چاچا دریا پہ وہ بھی سو گئے، اب کون جو سکینہ کو شمر سے بچائے، زینب کو ماں کا فرمان پردیس میں رلائے، پیاسے کو کیسے پانی پیاسی بہن پلائے، زینب کو ماں کا فرمان پردیس میں رلائے۔ صلوات میں
برائے خوشنودی امام زمانہ بلند تر صلوات۔ اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد۔ فاتحہ۔ جب چھٹ کے قید شام سے سجاد گھر چلے، پہنچے اسیر شام سے چھٹ کر جو کربلا، پہنچے اسیر شام سے چھٹ کر جو کربلا، تسخیر ہو چکا تھا ہر ایک سخت مرحلہ، اترا جو بار سر سے تو یاد آئے ایک ایک مرنے والا نگاہوں میں پھر گیا، ایک ایک مرنے والا نگاہوں میں پھر گیا، دل میں گھٹے ہوئے تھے جو ارماں ابل پڑے، اشکوں کے ساتھ دل کے بھی ٹکڑے نکل پڑے، اشکوں کے ساتھ دل کے بھی ٹکڑے نکل پڑے، کوئی تڑپ کے بولی کہ اکبر کہاں ہو تم، چلائی کوئی قاسم بے پر کہاں ہو تم، ایک ماں صدائیں دیتی ہے اصغر کہاں ہو تم، زینب پکاری عابد مستر کہاں ہو تم، زینب پکاری عابد مستر کہاں ہو تم، بیٹا نہ دل پہ بس ہے نا قابو ہے صبر پر للہ لے چلو مجھے بھائی کی قبر پر للہ لے چلو مجھے بھائی کی قبر پر بولی لپٹ کے قبر سے بھیا میں آ گئی بھیا سنا میں شام تلک بیردہ گئی بھیا سکینہ ہم سے نگاہیں پھیرا گئی نکلی نہ قید خانے سے موت اس کو کھا گئی ارے نکلی نہ قید خانے سے موت اس کو کھا گئی بچی تو رو چکی تھی بہت تھک کے سو گئی لیکن وہ ماں کی گود جو ویران ہو گئی لیکن وہ ماں کی گود جو ویران ہو گئی بھیا ذرا رباب کی حالت تو دیکھیے کیسی اداس اداس ہے صورت تو دیکھیے دل خون زباں خاموش یہ ہمت تو دیکھیے ہر گام مرگ تازہ قیامت تو دیکھیے دکھیا یہ کیسے کیسے مصائب گزر گئے وارث بھی سر سے اٹھ گیا بچے بھی مر وارث بھی سر سے اٹھ گیا بچے بھی مر گئے اس نالا رباب پہ ہے محشر برپا ہوا عاشور کا سما تھا نظر میں کھینچا ہوا ہر آنکھ میں تھا چہرہ اصغر بسا گودی میں جیسے باپ کا منہ دیکھتا ہوا گودی میں جیسے باپ کا منہ دیکھتا ہوا قبر حسین کرب سے تھرا کے رہ گئی پرچھائی جیسے موت کی لہرا کے رہ پرچھائی جیسے موت کی لہرا کے رہ گئی پہنچے اسیر شام سے چھٹ کر جو کربلا بر محمد وآل محمد صلوات اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد
Salawat. Inshallah, tomorrow will be Arba'een. The full schedule will be mentioned but can also be found on the IEC website for any inquiry. The annual Arba'een procession will be the first thing in tomorrow's program. I would now like to request Brother Sajjad Naqvi to come and elaborate more about this annual procession and give a more detailed explanation. Please welcome him with a loud salawat.
So, as you know, tomorrow will be our 4th annual Arba'een walk to Hussaini. Inshallah, I'll see you all there. So, just a couple of safety guidelines we have to just say. So, first, obviously, it will be a walk. So, if you guys can bring any flags at home or anywhere that you have, so you can, or also placards or anything, you can have them while you're walking. So we have to stay on the sidewalk as much as possible. I think it'll be only one place where you'll have to just be on the side of the road. So make sure you have any children so that you keep them safe so they don't run out onto the road, and always keep on the sidewalk as much as possible. So this will be a continuous walk. There will be only one time where we would stop. That'll be on the intersection of Fullerton Avenue. The first group will stop so that the second group can join. And then we will continuously walk all the way till Purdet, and then we can get to IEC Hussaini. There will be food and water distributed on the both in the 316 Juliana Lane and also the town, the Civic Center. And also there will be also food and drink on the way that people will be giving out. So make sure not to litter. There will be people that have garbage cans or garbage bags. So make sure you put them in the garbage bin so we don't get any complaint that there's garbage around. So tomorrow, in the morning, it's going to be pretty humid. So you guys can also bring your own water bottles as well. I highly recommend any families with young children or anyone with strollers to go under the second option. That'll just be about 2 miles to Hussaini because it'll get really hot and the children might get tired. And so if that's so, there's no worries because there'll be a shuttle be ready to take you to Hussaini whenever you're done. So yeah, inshallah, I think that's all. Just also to limit the sound while we're walking. We are walking through neighborhoods as well, so if we're reading Nohar and something, we'll just keep it not too loud. So yeah, there'll be also the police will be cooperating with us and give us ways so the traffic won't conflict to us. Also, one last thing, if you guys can park here in IEC Hussaini, it would be more easier so that the shuttles can drop you to the second location, because there is an event happening on the second location so that there might not be parking available. So park here and there will always be shuttles here at the time that will move you to where you want to go. So inshallah, I hope to see you guys tomorrow, and inshallah I pray that we all have the chance and the tawfiq in that Mullah will call us all to the actual Arba'in, to Karbala, and that we will able to walk to Karbala, to Imam Hussein's shrine. Please recite loud salawat.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Sajjad. The walk will begin at 10:30. 12:30 will be Ziyarat al-Arba'in. 12:51 will be Salat al-Zuhrain. At around 1:15, the Urdu Majlis will be led by Maulana Mirza Muhammad Jawad. Then the Matam and procession will be held around IEC building. 3:15 will be Tabruk. And at 4:30, there will be a ladies' Majlis addressed by Zakra, Sister Zainab Hussain. At 7:35, it will be Salat al-Maghribain. And at 8 p.m., the Urdu Majlis will be led by Maulana Mirza Muhammad Jawad, and the English Majlis will be led by Hajj Jalal Moughania. Please don't forget about the Arba'in Repair and Upgrade Program. Tomorrow will be the last day to donate. Inshallah, a short discussion will take place in the Old Legacy Hall with Hajj Jalal Moughania promptly after today's Majlis. We request everyone please come and participate. Now, without further ado, please welcome Hajj Jalal Moughania with a loud salawat.
Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله الذي جعلنا من المتمسكين بولاية سيدي ومولاي علي بن أبي طالب. والحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. In the name of God, the most beneficent, the most merciful, we ask Allah to send His greatest peace and blessings again upon Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. We praise Allah for all the blessings He has given us, and the greatest blessing being that He allowed us to be of the ones who remain steadfast, dedicated and loyal on the path of our Master after the Prophet, the Commander of the Faithful, the Prince of the Believers, the Protector of the Prophet and his message, Al-Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. We praise Allah for this blessing and every blessing, for without Allah we would have nothing. Assalamu alaikum, my dear respected elders, my dear respected brothers, my dear respected sisters, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspires each and every one of us every single day. With each breath that we take, we are given yet another opportunity to be better. It doesn't matter what happened before, your past sins, your former life, where have you been, and who you were with. Because with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as soon as you choose Him over everything else, He gives you a clean slate. With Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in keeping count of all the great things that you do and all the not so great things that you have done, Allah has the ability to wash you away from everything that you don't want. Allah has the ability to take you to places you've never imagined. Allah has the ability to make you not just a new version of yourself or a different version of yourself. He will make you the best version of yourself, the best imaginable version of any self that you could ever wish for. You don't have to be someone else with Allah. You can and should be you. Everyone else is taken. You. Don't be someone else. Don't try to be someone else. Be you. But the best version of you. You see, Islam does not tell us to live in duality. Islam doesn't tell us to live two faces. A face for the mosque and a face for work. A face for the Husainiyah and a face for school. A face for the community and a face for society. Islam tells us, be you. But what do we mean by that? Do I mean it in the sense of woke culture today? No, absolutely not. I mean it in that you, O son of Adam, O daughter of Adam, you are endowed within yourself the potential for your greatest success, your greatest happiness, your greatest contentment and purpose and meaning. You have it inside of you. You just need to dig. And you just need to peel back the layers that you and I have, maybe intentionally or unintentionally, placed upon our hearts and upon our minds. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us pure, created us clean, created us free, created us amazing and awesome. But we've done a number to ourselves. So we spend our adulthood in going back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, hopefully, and holding on to Muhammad wa ali Muhammad so that we can return to that pure, awesome, amazing self that will unleash for you all the things that you want in this life and the next. We don't believe that the human being is inherently a bad or evil creature. We don't believe that the human being is prone to ruin and being just stuck in the same rut of wrongdoing over and over and over again. We believe that the human being, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as He says in the Holy Quran, created in the best of forms. إِنَّا خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. We have created this human being, the best of forms. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He created you, did He not create you out of His light? Did He not create you out of His love? Did He not create you from His Spirit? Did He not create you because He wished for you a purpose and a meaning in this life so you can show not Him, but your own self, your own potential and your own greatness? And that greatness that you have as a human being, can it not be manifested through you being humble, through you practicing humility, through you realizing the ultimate truth that there is none worthy of worship but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and through Him I can find my greatness, I can find true glory in this world, for there is no glory in its truest sense save but for God. Why do I start with this? Why do I start with this glorification of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and this connection between us and Him? In this Majlis of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam, the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi, he taught Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib a beautiful truth. And no, as many of you do, Imam Ali alayhi salam told his companions, the Holy Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, taught me 1,000 doors of knowledge. From each of those doors, another 1,000 doors would open. I want to share with you one small thing that the Prophet taught Imam Ali alayhi salam, and the Imam would teach his companions and their followers. من عرف نفسه عرف ربه. He who knows himself, or she who knows herself, will know their Lord. Stop mistreating yourself. Stop harming yourself. Stop hurting yourself. Stop belittling yourself. Stop looking down on yourself. You are a servant of Allah. This body that you have is not yours. This body that I have is not mine. Stop misusing it. It belongs to Allah. Tonight, in this spiritual rejuvenation and intellectual movement with Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam in the 40th of his commemoration, as we try to understand how religion, Islam, is our foundation. Tonight we're going to talk about the physical dimension. The dimension that should be obvious, the most obvious to all of us. But the dimension that we can sometimes neglect without even realizing it. The physical dimension, a lot of times people think it's just coming down to fitness and nutrition, which by the way are hugely important. To take it on a lighter note, the Holy Prophet ﷺ emphasized to his companions, to his followers, emphasized their fitness, emphasized the use of their bodies in a way that would keep them active, The Prophet, just 3 things, just to remember them, just 3 things right off the bat. The Prophet emphasized swimming, made swimming a sunnah, a tradition of the Holy Prophet. He made archery a sunnah, a tradition of the Holy Prophet. Young men, young women, practice archery. The Holy Prophet encouraged his companions to know the art of riding horses. Not just for transport, but for the exercise of knowing how to treat these animals and how to be in a physical state, having the physical fitness, because if anybody's gone horseback riding, you have to be at a basic level of some physical fitness to do it properly. The Prophet had this active movement and encouraged it as part of his tradition in the lifestyle of his companions. Similarly, he and Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, in implementing and protecting, safeguarding the message of the Holy Prophet, emphasized certain aspects of nutrition, where you are aware of and have a conscientiousness to the things that enter your body. Now I'll tell you, I'm the first amongst us all who needs to do a better job when it comes to nutrition. But when we're standing before Imam al-Husaini alayhi salam and we're thinking, yes, I want to come and I want to do ma'tam. I want to come and practice azadari. I want to go and engage in all of these different things. That's part of the majlis. That's part of the commemoration. How do you continue in your commemoration each and every day? Beyond the majlis, beyond the Husainiyah, beyond all of these aspects. That's what we're trying to do here. To make it a lifestyle, a Husaini lifestyle, a Alawi lifestyle, a Fatimi lifestyle, a Hassani lifestyle, a Muhammadi lifestyle. That you and I, we realize, wow, Ahlul Bayt, Islam, gave me a lifestyle that's going to make me happy and successful in every aspect, in every dimension of my life. Take this for example. Imam Ali alayhi salam, he emphasized with his companions such a discipline of self, such a willpower, such a mastery of self that was truly unmatched. Some of the companions of Imam Ali described one day when they were sitting with him, he was giving a maw'idha. He was giving some advice to his companions. The narration says that the Imam's stomach began to rumble. He was hungry. The Imam continued. A little bit more. The sound of his stomach rumbling. And again, the Imam looks down at his stomach and he says, be quiet before I swallow a rock and make you quiet. Imam Ali alayhi salam was that same individual whom, when he, in one of the battles of Islam, in the early battles with the Holy Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, he was struck with an arrow. The Prophet advised his companions, wait until Ali enters his prayer, and when he enters his prayer, remove the arrow from his body. This same Ali was the individual whom when he would pluck, and I literally say pluck, the gate of Khaybar from its hinges with his 2 bare hands, a feat that dozens of men could not do. When the Muslims celebrated the victory of Khaybar, Ali would break a loaf of bread on his knee. They would ask him, Ali, we are bewildered. Moments ago, you plucked the gate of Khaybar like a flower from a flower bed in a garden. And now, you break a piece of bread, a loaf of bread, on your knee. How? Why? Ali would tell them, I break this bread for myself. That gate I broke or plucked for Allah. When you and I are looking at living a lifestyle, we're often focusing, emphasizing on I, the self. And I'm going to try to bring it full circle in the sense of, when I was saying your greatness is within you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you, allow yourself, stop harming yourself, stop hurting yourself, stop belittling yourself. And then tying that to what Imam Ali taught us from the Holy Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, man arafa nafsah, arafa rabbah, whoever knows himself, knows his Lord. You see, when there's this connection with Allah, where you realize that ultimately, nothing, it's not even about a possibility. It's the reality that nothing is without Allah. I am not just I'm not possible. I am not, will not, could not, am not without Allah. Not just as a mere existence, but anything that's projected even further. Sitting upon this minbar, sitting on this blessed ground, any place that brings forth the memory of Imam al-Husaini alayhi salam is blessed. So yes, sitting where we're sitting, the sitting, the rising, the folding of our arms, putting our arms aside in our pocket, raising our hand, raising our voice, whispering like this, in your prayer, with your family, at work, at home, at school, it's not without Allah. So when we wake up in the morning and we're struggling, and man, we struggle with Salat al-Fajr. We all struggle. You could be in your bed, it's nice and cozy. Fajr time comes, and you're like, Hajj, you were just telling me about Dua al-Ahd, the supplication for Imam al-Mahdi for 40 days after Salat al-Fajr. I'm still struggling with Fajr. You're telling me about a dua for an extra 5 minutes? I can barely get my eyes open, man. It's okay. Are you trying? Are you moving? Are you changing? And some of us may say, I'm not. I'm struggling. I've been struggling for years. Been struggling for years. I keep on trying. I keep on saying, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna change. I'm gonna do it. You know what the problem is? You know who you're relying on? You're relying on the wrong guy, man. You're relying on you. You've been so for years. I kept on telling myself, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna change. I'm gonna make it happen. Not realizing that the whole movement of change doesn't happen without we've been trying to change ourselves for years, and it's not working. Try Allah for a change. Have faith in Him for a change. Leave it up to Him for a change. Submit to Him for a change. When you're praying and you're placing your head, remember, tonight is the physical dimension. It starts physically. It starts here like this. When you place your head on that place of sajda, imagine you don't pick up your head. Imagine that's the last thing you do. Imagine you stay in that state. You know, Imam Ali alayhi salam said, he was asked by his companions towards the end of his life. They asked him, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, what do you prefer? This life or the next? What do you prefer? This life or heaven? He said, this life. How? Why? He said, I prefer my head in prostration in the masjid over heaven in bliss in paradise. They said, why, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen? How? How could it be? He said, there is the reward and the pleasure of myself. Here is the pleasure of my Lord. Ali ibn Abi Talib, Amir al-Mu'mineen, is not a myth, a legend. Ali ibn Abi Talib was legendary. He was a man of men. Ali ibn Abi Talib was that true manifestation of what it meant to be a man. You're looking for manlyhood, you're looking for manhood, looking for masculinity, looking for what it means to be a man. Look no further than Ali. How he lived his life. This man was a champion of every confrontation that he ever faced. No one could beat him. In order to kill this man, they had to strike him in his prayer. And even with that strike, he didn't die until 2 days later. Now when you're thinking of Ali, naturally you're thinking of strength. You're thinking of bravery. You're thinking of courage. You're thinking of a champion of battle. But Ali was that same man who would be at home and make sure his family was taken care of. He would make sure that his family did not look elsewhere, did not feel a need to look beyond him. Ali was that man who took care of his family and all families. Even the people that didn't even like him. Even the people that cursed his name. During the last year of Imam Ali's Khilafah, he would visit the widows and the orphans of the battles that he faced. So think of the battles that we mentioned. Jamal, Siffin, Nahrawan, all these battles that took place. Imam Ali alayhi salam, when he was the Khalifa, remember how we mentioned that he would walk in the marketplace? He would also walk in the neighborhoods. As he would walk in the neighborhoods, he would know whose house belonged to who. He visited the widows and the orphans of not just his men in battle, but the men from the other side of the battlefield. He would visit them, he would bring them food, water, and care for them. Literally, he wouldn't just drop it off and leave. He would go inside the homes, ask the families, how can I be of help to you today? Mind you, he didn't come in and say, I am the Khalifa of Allah, I am the Caliph, how can I be of assistance to you? He didn't come with his entourage. Ali ibn Abi Talib didn't need an entourage. He didn't need bodyguards. He didn't need men around him to make him feel better, to make him feel more confident. He didn't need a posse. What Ali needed, he identified every day. Allah. What Ali wanted, he shared with the people every day. The pleasure of Allah. What Ali aspired to be was a servant of whom? Allah and His Prophet. This man would go into these homes, check on these women, check on the orphans. In one particular instance, this family that he's helping, he's literally grinding lentils with this family. The family said, yes, we need help. Can you help with some of these chores? He's like, sure, no problem. She doesn't know who he is. He just seems like a nice man. She's outside with her children. Imam Ali is grinding the lentils. And then when he finishes that, he helps cleaning. And then when he finishes that, he goes and he plays with the children. The woman looks. She says, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, I'm not going to repeat it, but she curses the Imam's name, not knowing who he was. One of her friends enters the home. And as the Imam is leaving, she's just shocked. She's looking, looks back, looking. She's like, do you know who that man just was? It's like, oh, he was a nice man that came by and asked me if I needed help. And he helped me. He's been helping me for hours. The days passed and he's just been helping me. She's like, that was the Khalifa. That was Ali ibn Abi Talib. She said, oh Lord, I've been cursing his name and he is helping me. Just like whom? Just like our Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he would walk every single day, it's hard sometimes to say these stories. When they would throw filth at our Prophet and Ahlul Bayt. Filth. The waste of animals. When they used to gut animals, they would put it on the side. They used to take that and throw it on our Prophet. But how did he engage? How did he interact? How did he use his body? Did he throw garbage back at people? Did he throw filth back at people? Did he use his tongue to respond to them and reciprocate the same filth of cursing that they used against him? Because I want to tell you, my dear young men, my dear sisters, our tongue is a trust from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And one whom our imams described, the Shia, our followers, the people are safe from their tongues. So when we talk, when we speak amongst one another, whether you're mocking someone, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, لا يسخر قوم من قوم. People should not mock one another. The Imam tells us people from the Shia, they're safe. So when you cuss someone out, when you curse someone's name, when you curse their parents, when you curse their family, you're falling out of character of the best version of yourself. Hold yourself back. These are certain practices from our physicality, from this physical dimension, that are a basic foundation for us that we need to build. Because if we don't build some of these basics, we're not going to be able to move and advance in every other aspect of our lives. So when you're taking lesson from the Prophet and the way he acted, the Imam and the way he acted, the Imam would care for the widows and orphans of his enemies. The Prophet, for this woman that would throw filth on him every single day when he discovered that she was sick, she was ill, he would go and take care of her in her own home. Why? When she realized who he was, why? He would explain, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. I was sent to perfect the best of manners, the best of ethics. Now you and I today, we may face a crisis. You want to know what the crisis is, my young brothers in the front? You want to know what the crisis is, my young brothers in the front? You listening to me? The crisis that we may be facing, young and old, is a crisis of akhlaq. A crisis of ethics. I'm not even talking about an identity crisis. Let's not go that deep. We can talk about that. What I'm talking about is a crisis of ethics, of manners. Some of us, as a younger generation, I'll tell you, I'm a first generation American. My parents came here in the late 70s. My grandparents and my parents came here in the late 70s, escaping civil war in Lebanon. My grandmother literally carried her children underneath her arms under gunfire in Beirut. She was a legend. She was a champion. She saved their lives and allowed us to literally come into existence. She may not have realized what she was doing at that time, but she did something miraculous. A true warrior in her own right. Many of your parents and grandparents may have similar stories. Escaping persecution. Escaping a certain life that did not have a bright future for you on the other side of the world. But you and I, as let's say, now I'm speaking to my generation, as first generation, second generation, we may be thinking, oh, those are the old ways. That's some of the traditions that we have, some of these morals and ethics that we may practice. Making sure that, for example, if an elder comes into the room, someone who's older than us, if I'm sitting in the chair, it's not a big deal, man. I mean, like, do I have to give up my chair? Do I have to open the door? Do I have to bow my head a little bit out of respect? Do I have to say Assalamu alaikum? Do I have to give a firm handshake? Do I have to do that? No, you don't have to do any of that. But know that when you're not doing any of that, you're being less of a man. Know that when you neglect these things, you're neglecting your manhood. Know that when you leave the basic foundations of our ethics, which are not, by the way, not something that you may claim and say, oh, this is just culture. These are just norms. These are just things from our parents, from Lebanon, from Iraq, from Pakistan, from India, from wherever. These are just things from back home. No, they're not. And now I'm going to tie it to identity. These things are the foundations of our identity. When you lose your respect and you lose your honor, you lose who you are. Al-Husayn alayhi salam on the day of Ashura, it was all honor. Every single moment screamed honor. From the hijab of Lady Zainab, that Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam told her, "O Zainab, protect that hijab." To all those who may have read, who may have engaged in some conversations when it comes to Ma'tam, when it comes to the commemoration, the mourning rituals of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam, in our narrations, we do have where Imam al-Husayn told Lady Zainab, and listen carefully, told Lady Zainab, when the tragedy takes place, do not slap your face. Do not remove your veil. Do not practice 1, 2, and 3. Why? There's a reason here, specifically. When it came to be in front of the enemies of Allah, when it came to be where if you were to do this in front of them, those who just killed us, it would be a belittling of your honor. But when it came to the privacy of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, amongst themselves in their tents, when it was away from the enemy's eyes, who were saying, when they were asked, why did you all remove the clothing from the bodies of Husayn's men? Why did you trample upon the chest of Al-Husayn with the hooves of your horses? They were asked. Shimr la'natullah alayh and the men with him were asked, why did you do this? Why add insult to injury? Why did you continue? The men were dead. Why? You know what they said? We wanted to break the women and children. We wanted them to suffer. Why? Their fathers, their grandfathers were the fathers and grandfathers that killed our fathers and our grandfathers. It goes to that. So when you and I are practicing the mourning, yes, we pound our chests, yes, we wear black, yes, we shed our tears, yes, we cry and we moan and we wail, as Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam did, and rightfully so, as they practiced the mourning of the greatest tragedy that ever took place. So now I hope that point is clear. So when people ask you, you have a greater context. When Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam told Zainab to honor herself, and she did, at the highest level, the mountain of patience that was Zainab alayhi salam. They protected and honored themselves. And they safeguarded the memory of their honor through the rituals. See, these gatherings, my dear brothers and sisters, these are sacred. These gatherings of the Husainis, of the lovers of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam, they're sacred. Don't belittle it and do not take this for granted. People died over generations and centuries in order for us to continue these commemorations. How many of you are watching as people are making their walk towards Karbala? Tomorrow is the day of Arba'in. Who's seeing videos online, pictures online of the walk to Karbala? Who's seeing videos? You guys aren't seeing videos? What's going on? You're not seeing videos. Nobody's seeing videos on Instagram. You're not seeing videos? Okay, thank you. I'm looking at some of the brothers and sisters. They're like, nope, I'm not seeing any videos. Nothing. Maybe you're not online. No worries. I'll share some videos with you guys afterwards, inshallah, so that you can see millions. It's projected that this year will reach 30 million people walking to Karbala. The largest human gathering. The largest human gathering across the world today in Karbala, in Iraq, all calling out, Labbaika ya Hussein. All calling out for that blessed name. You think that happened overnight? You think that happened just out of thin air? Go back just 20 years ago. 20 years ago. And you could probably count in the hundreds, maybe the thousands, maybe, of those who are making the walk to Karbala. And I'm referring to a time just 2 decades ago with the Ba'athist regime. I personally heard stories from people on the walk to Karbala talking about how their family members and even themselves, some of their family members were imprisoned and then executed. Some of them were taken and imprisoned. There was one man that I met. They amputated one of his legs to discourage him from walking. He continued to walk. Another man that was tortured so severely, he was almost paralyzed. Continues to walk. Why am I sharing all this? We need context. We need to understand that our faith is so important. And that you and I, when we freely say La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, and we freely practice the school of thought as Shia, as followers of Ali ibn Abi Talib, Amir al-Mu'mineen, we can't take it for granted. Your father, your mother sacrificed for you to be here today. Imam al-Sajjad alayhi salam, he said, the right of your father is to know that he is the root of God's blessings upon you. And when we're talking about our ethics, when we're talking about these morals, these manners, what it means to become a man, it doesn't matter what your relationship with your father is right now. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you, as a young man, realize the right of your father upon you is to know that he is the root of God's blessings for you in your life. If you like, the Imam says, the Imam continues, in the Risalatul Huquq, the treatise on rights, Imam Zayn al-Abidin, al-Sajjad alayhi salam, the son of Imam al-Husayn, the one who survived Karbala. Know, by the way, when this Imam survived Karbala, and he gave us the treatise on rights, he gave us Sahif al-Sajjadiyah, he gave us a spiritual revolution. He says, know that if you see anything in yourself that you like, your father is to thank for that. His right is that you know that without him, you could not be. Now the right of your mother. By the end of this, my dear brothers and sisters, you should be going up to your parents and kissing their hands and their heads. Deal? If they're with us, kiss their hands and their heads. If they're not with us today, then recite Surah Al-Fatiha for their souls and give the blessings of whatever you offer tonight and tomorrow for their honor, for their blessed souls. The Imam says your mother, the right of your mother is that you know that she carried you where no one can carry anyone else. Is that you know that she protected you with all of her organs, something no one can do for anyone else. She did not care if she went hungry as long as you ate. She did not care if she was thirsty as long as you drank. She did not care if she was in the heat of the sun as long as you were in the shade. She did not care if she did not have the protection of clothes as long as you were clothed. All for the possibility of you belonging to her. You will never be able to repay her except by the strength of God. So the next time you ask, the next time you think to yourself, should I give up my chair for an elder? Should I shake someone's hand and look them in the eyes? Should I lower my head and have a little bit more respect and regard for those that have lived a few more years than me? Should I lend a helping hand? Should I think beyond myself? Yes. 1,000 times yes. That's what it means to be a man. It's to give. It's to serve. It's to take from yourself as much as physically possible and give it to those around you, so that you, though, may be experiencing pain in your mind, let me take the pain so that the people around me have less pain. That's what it means to be a man. You think it was easy for Ali ibn Abi Talib, Amir al-Mu'mineen? You think it was easy? Oh, it's okay, it's not a big deal. For him to go every single night, his sleep was a minimum. In the middle of the night, he would go and take care of people and not let them know that it was him. So beyond the physical exhaustion, the mental exhaustion of I'm helping people who literally curse my name. You think that's easy? Let me tell you the difference between Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib and us. It's not that he's not human. Ali was a human being, the best of the best, cream of the crop, the pinnacle of human perfection and excellence. The difference between us and Ali ibn Abi Talib, his grandson explained it to us. Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, one of his companions asked him, he said, Ya Imam, how is it that you are sinless? How is it that you stay away from sins? We know the Imams of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam to be immaculate. Are they not? Are they not immaculate? Are they not infallible, as we may say? Immaculate, they are by their choice. By their choice. Not infallible. In the technical definition of infallible is they cannot sin. Like the angels. The angels cannot sin. They are infallible. They are without sin, not out of choice. They cannot. Immaculate is they are perfect. Impeccable, immaculate by choice. Why? Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam would say, you want to know how we are sinless? He says, yes. He said, come with me to the marketplace. He goes to the marketplace. He goes to a butcher. He asks the butcher, he's like, give me the remains after you've caught the animal, you've chopped everything up, what you're about to throw in the waste. Let me see it. Peculiar request, correct? The butcher's like, Yabna Rasulullah, okay, no problem. He brings it forward. He shows it to his companion. He's like, would you ever eat this? Would you ever request it even? He said, absolutely not. The narration says that he was disgusted. Absolutely not. He said, see your reaction to this? That is the way we see sin. We see it for its reality. His grandfather Ali ibn Abi Talib, Amir al-Mu'mineen, would similarly say to his companions, when it comes to him, he said, I see beyond the veil. I see the truth for truth. And I see falsehood for falsehood. I see the sin and the disgust in it, and we stay away. I see the virtue and the greatness in it, and we go towards it. You and I, we may not have the ability. But you know what we do have? We have the ability to remind one another and build a community of support. You have family amongst you. The brother sitting next to you is your brother. By God, I've never said, and I hope to never say, the word brother or sister without meaning it in its sense as truly a brother or a sister. This generic sense of throwing brother or sister around, I don't believe in it. Why? When Imam Ali alayhi salam tells us that this is akhun laka fi deen, this is your brother in faith, the Imam doesn't throw words around. He's telling you he's a brother in faith. He's your brother in Islam. She's your sister in Islam. You better treat them that way. But guess what? If I'm expecting someone to be my brother or my sister, my support, go shoulder to shoulder with, into the challenges of the world today, then what I need to do? I need to be that brother, that sister to the person next to me. I need to be practicing it myself. Because if I don't practice it myself, then how do I expect anything from those around me? Now this is a very hard and challenging conversation to have. Why? Because at the end of the day, we're human beings. And we forget. And it's easy to forget. It's easy to lose sight of things. In this very majlis, you may be distracted. In this very majlis, you may be falling into questionable acts, questionable thoughts. You may be even challenged right now with the way you are viewing the person next to you, the person in front of you, the person behind you. Subhanallah. In the majlis of Imam al-Husaini alayhi salam, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that I've created you, in chapter 49 verse 13 of the Holy Quran, we mentioned this verse yesterday, but I find myself needing to mention it here again. We've created you from male and female, and we've made you from nations and tribes so that you may get to know one another. The diversity that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created in humanity is mandated in order for us what? To appreciate and seek to learn and understand. Seek to understand in order to be understood. And then the verse continues. إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ. The best amongst you with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most pious, the most God-weary, the most conscientious, the most mindful. I pray that tonight, in the memory of Imam al-Husaini alayhi salam, that we can truly be mindful, that we can truly practice that conscientiousness, that we can use every dimension of our existence, including our physical bodies, as a vehicle for our betterment, for our success. Whether it's the food that we're eating, the things that we're drinking, the fasting that we're participating in to cleanse ourselves. beyond the nutrition, the things that we are exposing ourselves to, the things that we are watching, the places that we are attending, where we are walking, where we are going, the things that we're clicking with our thumbs on our phones, every single part of us will witness the good and the bad. It's up to us. It's up to us. Now join me, my dear brothers and sisters, as we recite on the eve of Arba'een some of the stories of the widows and the orphans of Karbala. So you and I, we can talk for hours on how we can become better and how we can move ourselves and how we can continue and how we can etc. etc. But the tragedy of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam, what he endured and what his family endured, is truly like no other. So give me your attention, give me your hearts, give me your minds, give me your eyes, as we remember the tragedy of Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam on this holy night. If I tell you this tale of sorrow, will you lend me your hearts to borrow? Will you shed a tear for Hussein? Will you remember Zainab's pain? If I tell you this tale of sorrow, will you lend me your hearts to borrow? Will you shed a tear for Hussein? Will you remember Zainab's pain? And if we stay here tonight until tomorrow, will you bear this tale of sorrow? Listen here to Hussein's story, a story of heartache and glory, a story of heartache and glory. And if we stay here tonight until tomorrow, will you bear this tale of sorrow? Listen here to Hussein's story, a story of heartache and glory, a story of heartache and glory. After the day of Ashura, as they left the land of Karbala, the women and the children of Imam al-Husayn experienced tragedy after tragedy. Imagine, my dear brothers and sisters, as they were taken from city to city, as the heads of their fathers, the heads of their brothers, the heads of their sons were being held by the spears of the enemies of Allah. And Lady Zainab would try to protect the children from needing to see the sight. But I ask you, my dear brothers and sisters, how could Zainab protect them after they saw Hussein killed? After Hussein was slaughtered on the sands of Karbala, how could she protect them after Al-Abbas would not return. How could she protect them as Al-Qasim was cut down to pieces? How could she protect them when Al-Akbar was taken from his mother and he was slaughtered by the enemy? Brothers and sisters, on the way from Karbala to Kufa, from Kufa to Sham, and from Sham back to the land of Karbala, when Imam al-Husayn's family decided, we wish to visit the graves of the champions, the fallen warriors of Husayn. I want you to imagine with me as they are taking this long journey back to Karbala. Today the millions are walking to Imam al-Husayn. Most of them are walking, though it's a long journey, taking 3 days, walking from the holy city of Najaf to the holy city of Karbala. But brothers and sisters, what about Zainab, who would walk hundreds of miles to reach her Husayn? What about the women and the children who lost so much on the way? What about the mothers who mourn their sons? What about Ramla who mourned Al-Qasim? What about Ramla who mourned Al-Qasim? On the day of Ashura, Al-Qasim would come before Imam al-Husayn and tell him, my master Husayn, I wish to give my life for you. He tells him, my son Qasim, you're all that I have that remains from my brother. Your older brothers Abdullah and Al-Hassan already went forward in the battlefield. Please don't bereave your mother Ramla. You're all that she has. Al-Qasim tells Imam al-Husayn, Uncle Husayn, to die with you is sweeter than honey to me. Uncle Husayn, this young man, 14 years old, he says, my Uncle Husayn, you speak to me of my mother Ramla. My mother is the one who dressed me in my armor. My mother is the one who handed me my sword. My mother is the one who placed this helmet on my head. Brothers and sisters, how would Ramla cry for Al-Qasim as she would go back to the land of Karbala? But before Ramla would have sacrificed Al-Qasim, remembering Imam al-Husayn on the day of Ashura, had given all of his friends, all of his companions. And one after the other, as they had fallen on the sands of Karbala, each one calling before their soul would depart, Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Al-Imam al-Husayn would go into the land where their corpses were lying, where their bodies had fallen, and he would walk amongst them as the enemies would look at him, readying their arrows and their spears. He would walk amongst them, looking at their bodies. He would tell them, Habib, Zuhair, oh my companions, why is it that I call you and you do not answer me? How is it that I call your names, O champions of Karbala, and you do not respond? When Imam al-Husayn would call his companions and they all had fallen, and there was no one left but his own family member. Imagine with me on this walk back to Karbala, as Zainab is mourning, as Ramla is mourning, Layla would be mourning. Layla would be crying because she remembers her son Al-Akbar, the first one of Banu Hashim to go forward and tell his father Hussein, my father, my master Hussein, let me show them who the sons of Ali really are. I will make them scatter all near and far. I am Ali ibn al-Husayn ibn Ali. I will defend the religion of my grandfather Ali. Let me show them my father Hussein. Let me be your shield. I will not yield. And Al-Akbar would go into the battlefield as he would defend the honor of his father Hussein, as he would strike the enemies left and right, killing over 150 men. He would return to Imam al-Husayn, and Imam al-Husayn would greet his son, but he would tell him something that Imam al-Husayn would be so saddened by. He would tell him, my father Hussein, the metal, the armor on my body is so heavy now, as the thirst is killing me. Is there but a drip of water so that I may gain my strength and go and kill 100 more men for you, my father Hussein? Imam al-Husayn tells his son, my son Hussein, my son Ali, soon you will be quenched by the hand of your grandfather Muhammad. Before you go forward, go and see your mother Layla. He greets his mother Layla, who prostrates to Allah, thanks Allah. She had been praying for her son, saying, oh, thanks be to you, Ya Allah. You've returned Joseph to Jacob. You've returned the trust back to me. He embraces his mother and he goes back into the battlefield. Imagine as Layla is repeating this memory in her head as she's walking back to the land of Karbala. And Al-Akbar goes into the battlefield and the enemy surround him and they attack him from every side until Ali Al-Akbar, his horse is overwhelmed. The blood splatters upon the eyes of the horse and he is taken into the heart of the enemies. And Ali Al-Akbar is attacked from every side. And Ali Al-Akbar calls out, Habata, Father Hussein, Ajrikni, help me, help me. And Imam al-Hussein goes into the battlefield as the lion that he was. The enemy scatter and he finds his son Al-Akbar on the sands of Karbala. He holds his son, he brings him close, and his final breaths are being taken. And as he's telling his father, Assalamu alayka, Ya Mawlai, Habata, my father Hussein, his soul departs. And Imam al-Hussein, he prays to Allah, he says to Allah, you have seen what the enemies have done to me. They have taken the one who resembled your Prophet Muhammad. What is life after you, my beloved Ali? What is life without you, my beloved Ali? As the widows and the orphans of Imam al-Hussein are journeying back to Karbala, crying and wailing, reciting the tragedies, I want you to hear the wails of Layla, who gave her son Ali al-Akbar. I gave Hussein my son Ali, the first of his sons. I gave Hussein my son Ali, the first of his sons. He's the light of my eyes, the joy of life. He's the light of my eyes, the joy of life. I told him, what did she tell Akbar? I told him as I held my tears. Oh mothers, wouldn't you cry for your son as you send him off? She said, I told him as I held my tears. Akbar Ali, You are great, you are strong. Akbar Ali, you are great, you are strong. Know that your thirst will be quenched by your grandfather Ali and Muhammad. Know that your thirst will be quenched by your grandfather Ali and Muhammad. So go and give your life for Hussein. Go and give your life for Hussein. What else does she say? I'll see you in heaven with Zahra. I'll see you in heaven with Zahra. Our heads high, our hearts strong, honored today. Our heads high, our hearts strong, honored today. But how could I not feel pain? My love Hussein. But how could I not feel pain? My love Hussein. Ali's gone. 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 إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. We belong to Allah and to Him we return. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the right of Ali al-Akbar, al-Qasim al-Abbas, the champions of Karbala, al-Imam al-Hussein and all of the shuhada. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our tears. Ya Allah, if tonight is our last, let it be one where we are resurrected with Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad in the love of al-Hussein. Ya Allah, if tonight is our last, let it be one where we go to our grave seeing the face of our holy Imam. Ya Allah, we ask you by the right of all of these sacrifices to never leave us without the love and the passion and the fire for Imam al-Hussein in our hearts until the day that we die. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to heal our ill ones, to answer our prayers, to bring us closer together, to unite us in this love of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. We ask Allah to give the blessings of this majlis, the thawab of this majlis, the thawab of Surah Al-Fatiha and the thawab of salawat for all of our marhumeen, especially who made this night possible. Ya Allah, bihaq Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad, let's recite Surah Al-Fatiha, but before it, allowed salawat ala Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen, ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, malik yawm al-din.
अरबईन करना है
شاہ کربلائی کا اربعین نہ ہے شاہ کربلائی کا لے کے داغ سینے پر شام کی جدائی کا حق ادا کرے زینب کیسے اپنے بھائی کا قافلہ اتر آیا صبر کی خدائی کا کربلا کے میدان پر فاطمہ کی جائی کا اربعین
کرنا ہے شاہ کربلائی کا
بھائی کیا سناؤں میں ہم پہ کیا ستم گزرے بعد عصر عاشورا بے کفن تھے سب لاشیں شام غم کے چھاتے ہی موت کے بڑے سائے شام غم کے چھاتے
ہی موت کے بڑے سائے
چھن گئی ردا میری بھائی جل گئے خیمے اربعین
کرنا ہے شاہ کربلائی کا
بعد کربلا بھائی ہر قدم قیامت تھی بیردارسن بستا راہ شام سے گزری بھائی ہم تماشا تھے راستے تماشائی بھائی ہم
تماشا تھے راستے تماشائی
ہر قدم دعا یہ تھی کاش موت آ جاتی اربعین کرنا ہے شاہ کربلائی کا اربعین کرنا ہے شاہ کربلائی کا خود اسیر قسمت تھی در بدر گئی زینب منہ کو اپنے بالوں سے ڈھانپ کر گئی زینب مجلس ستم گر میں ننگے سر گئی زینب مجلس ستم
گھر میں
ننگے سر گئی
زینب
لے کے ساتھ کنبے کو نوحگر گئی زینب اربعین
کرنا ہے شاہ کربلائی کا
اربعین کرنا ہے
شاہ کربلائی کا
بھائی اب خدا حافظ خبر سے چلی زینب بھائی اب خدا حافظ خبر سے چلی زینب بن تیرے گزارے گی کیسے زندگی زینب اٹھ گئی فرید آخر کہہ کے یا علی زینب اٹھ گئی فریاد
آخر کہہ کے یا علی زینب
درد و غم کی دنیا میں پھر سے کھو گئی زینب اربعین کرنا ہے شاہ کربلائی کا اربعین کرنا ہے شاہ کربلائی کا یا حسین یا حسین
یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو بھولی نہیں میں بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو بھولی نہیں میں بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو بھولی نہیں میں اپنے بندے ہاتھوں کو بیمار کے زیور کو بھولی نہیں میں بازار کے منظر کو اپنے کھلے سر کو بھولی نہیں میں بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو بھولی نہیں اٹھتی ہوئی آندھی کو وحشت کو بیاباں کو چھپتے ہوئے سورج کو تاریکی کو میدان کو چلتے ہوئے خنجر کو نیزے پہ تیرے سر کو بھولی نہیں میں بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو بھولی نہیں میں بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو بھولی نہیں لہراتے ہوئے نیزہ شمر کا وہ بڑھنا آ کے میرے پیچھے ہر بی بی کا وہ چھپنا چولوں میں گرے گھر کو چھنتی ہوئی چادر کو بھولی نہیں میں بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو بھولی نہیں میں بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو بھولی نہیں یاد آتا ہے کہ ماں کا وہ خاک میں دس جانا اور آگے کے شعلوں میں وہ ماں کا جلس جانا چلتے ہوئے جھولے سے لپٹی ہوئی مادر کو بھولی نہیں میں بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو بھولی نہیں میں بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو بھولی نہیں میں ایک چاند تھا بدلی میں چھپتا تھا نکلتا تھا پردہ در خیمہ کا اٹھتا کبھی گرتا تھا وہ خیمہ لیلا سے آئے رخصت اکبر کو بھولی نہیں میں بازار کے منظر کو اور اپنے کھلے سر کو بھولی نہیں میں یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین پر محمد وآل محمد صلوات
السلام علیکم یا ابا عبداللہ، السلام علیکم یا ابن رسول اللہ، السلام علیکم علی جدک و ابیک و علی امک و اخیک وللمعصومین من ذریتک و بنیک، السلام علیکم جمیعا ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ. السلام علیکم یا غریب الغربا، السلام علیکم یا معین الضعفاء والفقراء، کن شفیعنا و شفیع والدینا فی یوم الجزاء. السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ. السلام علیکم یا صاحب الزمان، السلام علیکم یا امام انس والجان، السلام علیکم یا شریک القرآن، السلام علیکم یا قامت الایمان. اجل اللہ تعالی فرجک وسیر اللہ تعالی مخرجک و ظہورک ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ. اللہ
Can I have everyone's attention, please? We will be doing a open question-answer session with Hajj Jalal Moughania right here in this Legacy Hall. For those who want to sit with him, more than welcome to stay. Inshallah, we'll be wrapping the session up by 11, so it won't be too long. So please, and if there are ladies downstairs that want to come up, please come, full hijab, and we can make arrangements as well. Thank you. Salawat.